SSS, Super Smash Secrets, and I'm PK Chris, one of the best Nesses in the world. And today, we're going to be going over some things that make Ness one of the best high tiers in the game. A majority of what makes Ness a high tier is a lot of his combos they connect very easily together, I would say. First, I'll go over a lot of his tilts. So, first on, we'll go with up tilt. Up tilt's a pretty good move. It launches right above him perfectly at an angle to convert into up air, just like this. Up tilt's good for that. And it could also lead into other things, like PK Flash if you time it, right? And that can lead into more stuff. But up tilt is mainly used to combo into up air, and it's also used to kill and to anti-air at high percent. So if we just go up to maybe like, against DK, it'll be pretty hard to kill him at this percent, right? But if we go to maybe, I don't know, 140, and we hit him with the sweet spot of up tilt, he dies, right? That's one of the better things, and it's really good in scenarios where you need to read a roll, or a jump, or a neutral get up, because you can kind of, it's got like a really nice lasting hitbox, so you can kind of just throw it out there, and sometimes it'll connect, but otherwise it's pretty safe, and it doesn't have a lot of end lag, so you can throw it out, you know, sparingly, and most of the time you won't get punished, right? So that's primarily what up tilt is used for comboing, for covering the ledge, jump, or roll, and it can be used to anti-air and just cover the area kind of in front and around Ness, right? Because it's got the sweet spot, and then it's got a bit of a sour spot, which doesn't really do as much damage. But next up, we got down tilt. Down tilt's honestly one of the moves that's kind of unexplored with Ness. It's kind of meant to be what his future holds. I think that down tilt will take him to the next part of where he's supposed to be. It's primarily used in the corner, mainly because with down tilt, you kind of just get like stuck there, just like this, kind of get stuck, right? And one of the most important things is while you're ledge trapping, say they get up from ledge, you get up ledge here, and you go for a nair, and then you cover them with down tilt like this. Down tilt is constant, as long as you're spamming A, it's just a constant hitbox over and over again. So if they up tilt, if they get up into you like that, as long as you cover the jump, right? Even if they roll, you can like turn it around, just like this, and try and cover it like that. But it's one of his fastest moves, so even if you do, even if you miss, it's a frame 3 move with very little end lag, so you can kind of just run up and then run away. It's one of those fast things. It's kind of like a check. If you want to just check what your opponent's doing, even if they have their shield up, right? You can kind of just check, run away, and see what happens. It's kind of like his main conditioning tool. A lot of people tend to struggle dealing with it because if it's poking your shield, right? Sometimes you don't know what decision to make because the Ness player might challenge you afterwards, or they might shield, you know, roll, run away, whatever they can do. But a lot of people go for up tilt into like down tilt's grab. That's like kind of a fake confirm is what most people call it. You can kind of just, if you have a fast enough jab as a character, like I doubt DK can get out of it, but if you jab while Ness is doing his down tilt, you're not in hit stun for that long, so you can kind of just jab him out of it. You can't really do anything else though until you wait until you get too far away. So it's a broken move. It does so much damage in the corner. So like he went from, I don't know, what, 18 to 63, right? 3% to 43, and that's like all true down tilts. They can't get out of it until they're pushed too far away, or unless they're SDIing really, really super hard into the corner. And like it does a lot of damage. It's fast, non-committal, and you can get combos off of it. So that's what down tilt is primarily used for. Then we got forward tilt. Honestly, forward tilt is not really used a lot. It's good sliding, obviously, right? It'll kill around, I want to say 140%, and it honestly, you can do, there are other moves that you should use instead of forward tilt. Like a run up nair would be 100% a lot better than a forward tilt. It's just safer in general, but forward tilt, right? So almost killed there at like 130, but if you go maybe to 140 by the ledge, forward tilt, right? So that killed, right? Obviously with not proper DI because it's CPU, but you kind of get the idea. It's kind of used as just like, it's like the one mix-up that you throw out by the corner, and 10 times out of 10 it'll probably hit if you don't use it the whole entire game. It's a very underused move. Something else, it is good to angle the forward tilt towards the ledge, kind of to catch people who there are some recoveries that go above the ledge. Like, I feel like Falcon's pretty much one of those examples where, like, sometimes he'll go low, and he's super susceptible to Ness's down smash, which goes below the ledge, right? So even DK too, he's super susceptible to getting hit by this. So some characters will go high, and that's where like angled up forward tilt will come into play, because you can kind of just like throw it out right here, catch their jump, right? And sometimes it's good at catching the offstage interaction, but also it's really good at catching neutral get up. If you kind of just time it, you can kind of get that point where they're like standing up, right? Can't really get him to do it, unfortunately, but... Okay, so you kind of get the idea, right? Forward tilt's kind of used for that. It's good for sliding, and not really for much else, if I'm being honest.
It's good for killing.
For killing.
I will say, you and Sen will like use F tilt to cover like neutral tech.
Right.
And then it'll kill around like 120, 130, depending on how much like rage Ness has. That move scales very heavily with rage. F tilt is a very good, just like quick kill option for Ness that's like way less committal than his other moves, for sure.
Next up, we'll move into his aerials. Now, first up, we'll go with one of his, I think, personally his best one. I think his back air is probably his best aerial. There's a total of 15%, which is kind of absurd for a back air, right? And it's, a lot of people call it the smash attack in the air for whatever reason, right? So it's got a lot of knockback, especially at these higher percents. It's most likely to be the move that you kill with, especially at a shield. Back air is also super safe on shield as well. You won't, if you space it properly, like look how, it's a very disjointed hitbox, so you're not really gonna get hit if you space it properly, especially, like I said, on shield. And it's mainly, you can start combos with it, you can end combos with it. It's really good at pretty much doing anything, right? So if I wanted to start a combo with back air, right, I land with back air. There's also a sweet spot and a sour spot, obviously, but if you land with sweet spot back air, you can turn around, grab, it's a forward air, forward air. What a lot of the top Ness players do, at least right now, is you go back air, up tilt, up air, right? So that combo will work on most of the heavies. Obviously, we're working against DK here, so a lot of the combos are gonna work. But you can even do like back air, up tilt, nair, up tilt, or just like, you can kind of freeform at 0, right? As long as you get close enough, once you hit the back air, right, you can connect into the up tilt. If you're too far away, obviously you're not gonna be able to connect. But yeah, so it can use to combo, it can use to kill. I'm pretty sure at this percent, like...
It'll kill DK around like
probably right here near the ledge, right?
Yeah. He'll barely not die, because Ness doesn't have rage right now. But
that's true.
Ness gets any slight percent of rage, like which starts at 50%. Yeah, he just...
You want to do it? Let's do it.
He just becomes a monster at killing people. DK will definitely die at 120.
Right here, 100%.
Yeah.
He just kind of obliterates, so... Right?
That move is very strong, and it's pretty fast. I think it's frame 9.
Yeah, you're right.
So it is one of the best moves that Ness has for killing out of shield, and his whole out of shield game is good. But if his back is turned, that's one of the moves that you know for sure is going to be coming out.
Right. It's good to use it, you know, when you're rising as well. Rising and falling's a little bit different, right? Because it's got that lasting hitbox, so you know you're bound to maybe, even if you're not going for the sweet spot, you could hit the weak spot if you kind of just like accidentally time it wrong.
Yeah, and it doesn't auto cancel when you do it falling from a full hop,
right?
Unless you like do it really like precise. And most of the time, if you're hitting back air on an opponent and you're falling from a full hop, you probably won't be able to auto cancel it unless they're really tall, like Sephiroth.
Right.
So it's mainly used when rising from the ground or from a short hop at max spacing, because he will be spaced away, so it is safe. But when he does it rising, it can also shield poke as well. The move is just overall very good.
100%, I agree. Obviously, Ness's aerials are all good, like I said. So let's move on to, I think, what his second best aerial is, which is his neutral air, right? Frame 5, one of his best out of shield options, right? Super good, has a lot of good drift as well. So the most important thing about neutral air is like when you're getting pressured, it has the, he kind of does that like weird spin animation. And what that entails is that he has the hitbox on both sides of his hand. So obviously getting your shield hit from the front is good because you'll be able to punish very easily. But even if you get crossed up and you get hit from behind, Ness will also be able to cover that with the back part of his neutral air, right? So it's good for that. It's also one of the main things that sets up for tech chases. So pretty much at this percent, I could do it right.
Yeah, it'll be around like 50 on heavies. It's like around like it's be around like 50%.
So at this percent, DK will be put into tumble if I hit him with a neutral air just like this, right? And that's pretty much like what Nair is really good at. It's good at setting up for tech chases, right? So you can drift forward with the Nair, which allows you to kind of follow up. While if you like did maybe, I don't know, short hop back here, you would kind of have to run pretty far in order to get the tech chase. And if they do tech, it's harder for you to kind of like be there and be ready. While like a Nair, you can drift with them, and then like if they roll away or roll in, you're kind of already on top of it, and you can kind of react a lot faster. But yeah, Nair's really good at a shield. It kills, obviously, at like 140. It'll definitely kill by the ledge. It's really good at that. It's got a super good lingering hitbox. So I'm pretty sure, again, there's the weak hit Nair and the strong hit Nair. If I could just get it, time it a little bit.
Yeah, and again, all of Ness's moves have like heavy scaling with rage. Right. So even if you don't think it's going to kill, sometimes I've seen Ness's Nair kill like Mario at like 110 by the ledge just because he has rage. So it's just very good. And you were mentioning the hitbox from behind. There's also a hitbox on top of his head for that move. Just cause.
Just cause.
Yeah, just cause. They wanted to make sure it was better than Peach's Nair. So
of course.
So they're like, yeah, they added the little sigh effects on his hand. So it hits above him, it hits behind him at a slightly higher angle than the forward hit of it. But the move is overall very, very good. Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much the majority of what Nair can do, right? Obviously.
Yeah, it's just a mainly defensive move.
Yeah.
Like not really a move you approach with. And speaking of approaching, I would get on to forward air. Yeah. We're talking about forward air is a move you would probably be approaching more with than neutral air.
Yeah, so I would say forward air is one of Ness's safest aerials, right? What I was mentioning before about neutral air, you can kind of do the similar thing with forward air where you can drift pretty much all the way back when spacing with this option, right? Obviously, it being a multi-hit is also pretty good as well.
Multi-hits don't do like anything crazy to shield, but if you're like buffering an option out of shield, they will hit you like immediately. So if you're getting hit with any multi-hit out of shield and your opponent got caught buffering anything because they're used to Ness's single hits, and he has a lot of single hits, and his only two multi-hitting aerials are up air and forward air. So if you're used to getting hit by Nair on shield and then you like to roll behind him, forward air is so good because it will hit them as soon as they start rolling, since they don't have invincibility yet.
It's good rising, of course, right? If I put him back to 0 here, forward air is really good at comboing, as mentioned before. So at this percent on DK, you can just get a free triple forward air, right? And that's already 42%. But you can like do some funky stuff with up air and with forward air, and it's a really good hitbox. So a lot of the time, when your opponent's off stage, you mainly want to pressure with forward air, right? Because like I said before, it's a lasting hitbox. And you can also kind of like bring yourself up with it, if that makes sense, right? So you can go down low and kind of like swing upwards.
Yeah, with his double jump.
Yeah, and that's like the most important thing, is because that hitbox lasts so long, so you can kind of just cover a small amount of space in a small amount of time. And with that, your edge guards will probably be a lot more flawless and a lot more easy, right? I mean, back air is good too, obviously, because it'll kill, but if you want like really easy and safe coverage, just go with forward air. It'll beat most recoveries too. You can kind of just, beat people off stage very easily with this move.
Yeah, you just get a lot of drift, so you get to move around a lot of recoveries very easily, and it just sets up for a killing blow, which as soon as you grab the ledge, you can just do it like a drop down back air that's usually just gonna end the stock after a forward air or anything like that. So, but forward air doesn't have like too many applications other than starting combos at low percents, and then at high percents, it's gonna be the move that you like kill with off stage, or even just spacing out your opponent. So it doesn't have too much use outside of that, but it does get the job done for what it's worth.
Right. And that, yeah, just like you said, that's primarily what it's used for. It's good for starting combos at low percent, spacing at high percent, and then killing off stage when it's needed to. But there's also another implication of what you kind of, it's just a small thing to mention, but it's super important, is like most of the time you're gonna see, if I'm playing, I'm gonna do a rising forward air, but there's this really good mix-up that you can go for, which is the falling forward air. A lot of people tend to drop shield on this, obviously, because we were talking about before the multi-hit. It's really good to set up into a combo, right? And it's also really good because you can do a couple other things with it. Like you can kind of drop down and cross up. If I can kind of get it to work. DK is kind of big, so it's a little hard. But you can definitely cross up with your forward air like that. You can kind of go behind your opponent while putting out your forward air hitbox. And obviously that applies to other things too. Like you can do that with back air. Like it's really good with forward air because of the multi hits, right? And it also is you could drag it down just like this, and you can see like DK kind of gets popped up a bit, and like that will lead into a grab at high enough percents. As the percents rise, combos like that become more true. Most of Ness's drag downs will have that kind of feature where the higher the percents go, the truer it gets.
So yeah, he could just do drag down forward air in the back throw.
Yep.
Do drag down up air in the back throw. I think up smash as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just has a lot of options after he hits it. It's a pretty good kill confirm as well. So forward air sharing that same trait with up air, which is like the super kill version of the move.
Right. So we're gonna roll straight into that, honestly. Up air is your primary combo tool. At 0%, you can get 4 up airs in a row. Remember we were mentioning the up tilt combo tool earlier? This is kind of where it comes into play. If you land on your opponent with an up air, you're going to want to follow up with an up tilt after, and then you can get 2 more, which obviously at this point, that'll be 58. Just easy for you. And this is true on most of the casts, right? And this damage is perfect to get your early combo started and just apply the pressure you need. It's also very good just landing, obviously because of the drag down, right? So you can do something like up air drag down into grab, or up air drag down into forward air. Anything you really desire, up air will kind of do it for you. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just the move you're basically gonna be wanting to use for combos, killing, when people are above you, you know, juggling. Like most up airs, honestly, it isn't like a utility up air besides into kill confirms, but that still goes into like killing category.
Right.
You're not gonna be really like spacing with this move too much or like doing anything crazy. But it is a strong up air. It is a nice multi-hit to have, and just gives Ness that extra ability of mix-up when he wants to land on his opponents, or if he's trying to find another move to get kills with.
Right. Super good. Just covers the top like part of where you kind of want to land. So like if you're like right above Ness, he's got like that nice little hitbox just to juggle you. But like overall, it's not too big, so you're not really gonna want to pressure with that too often. It can get pretty, like a lot of the swords will beat it out. I've tried to pressure many times trying to hit a swordie, and their downer will just beat my up air, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah, he has other moves to pressure people juggling with, so that's like if the character like doesn't have like a good big disjointed move like Cloud Dare or something.
Right.
But yeah, Ness's other moves can do sometimes even a better job at juggling than his up air would do. And then last move, down air. Honestly, this is your typical spike, but it is very, very, very strong.
Yeah. Some spikes are a lot stronger than others, but Ness is just like ridiculously strong for no reason. I don't exactly know what they were thinking over at Nintendo, but his just kind of destroys you. Yeah, obviously your typical spike, but it's got a lot of combo potential as well. At 0, you can do down tilt, up tilt into your regular up airs, right? It's also super good at comboing around the mid percent because it doesn't really send too far, and you're able to kind of convert. It sends like straight up around these percents, so you can kind of do some funky stuff like down air, footstool, air dodge down, right? And like that you can get a combo off of that, or you know, you can just, it sends at a really good angle in order to kind of get a follow-up. So after the down air, you can go for an air. Most Ness's moves are quick. For an up air, right? But like near the corner, you could go for maybe around like this 100% range. You could go for down air into back air, right? Oh, I missed.
Yeah, I guess I'd say the most important part of this move, since you're not going to be using this too much in neutral, it's really slow and really laggy. It just combos from a lot of Ness's other moves. Like when we get into the specials, you'll see it, but it combos from his down B, it combos from PK Fire. It's just, even though it's not a move you're gonna be using too much in neutral, it is just such a good combo ender. If someone's off stage, like they will most likely die.
That's it for Ness for now. Let's go play Fawn in a 1v1 to show off some of the specials.
3, 2, 1, go!
Already starting off PK Fire.
Oh, of course. Gotta make sure you stay at a certain distance.
As you can see already, the grounded version of PK Fire, not as good as its counterpart, the aerial version, which goes at a nice directional angle and has way less lag.
Right there, I just used a double jump cancel magnet, which is jump twice into down B, which allowed me to maneuver my way onto stage. That applies to all of his specials, where he can jump and then do one of his specials, and you're able to cancel all your momentum into, oh wow. I don't know where you're going, but I'm not over there.
Oh yeah, you can double jump cancel all of his specials, which will halt all his momentum, and it kind of like shortens his jump in a way, and he like can just keep drifting forward, or he can just stop altogether.
Oh, gonna have to recover here for the first time. As a recovery, it's honestly okay. You can stall a lot and, you know, make sure you drift very wide in order to mix up your timing. But most of the time, it's used as a juggle tool. The magnet is really good for mixing up your timing, right? So magnet here, I'm changing my direction, I'm moving around. It's also super good for comboing. You can kind of just like put yourself in a position to get something like that. And the one move we haven't talked about yet, because it's not really used too much, you can use it to combo, to juggle. It kind of sends up at a specific angle every time, right? And it covers a lot of space and doesn't really have too much end lag. So if you want to like cover like that, Ike thankfully is tall enough, so his shield actually gets hit by that. So it's a good pressure move.
Yeah, and PK Thunder also just very good at like harassing opponents off stage. It kind of, you would use the tail of the move to focus them on the edge, and it would kind of just like nick them. So if someone jumped and they get hit by the tail, they're not really gonna go anywhere. So unless they have a good recovery, most characters will die.
Against some characters, like a lot of the characters with a counter, it's very hard to get back because he doesn't have like a lot of mix-up. He kind of needs to go to ledge at the end of the day, right? Going above ledge, obviously you can do it with the beefy up B. If you hold down as you're recovering, you'll be able to go above the ledge and hit somebody if they're too close.
You know, like now that was like a good example of using PK Thunder to like harass someone off stage and then make them pick a bad recovery option, because I had nowhere to go. One thing I will say about Ness is that he does struggle landing at times due to his floaty nature and him not having the best hitboxes that go underneath him.
Yeah. It's weird because I'm kind of struggling to kill, but...
Yeah, even though Ness has a plethora of kill moves, sometimes he can just not find the kill, but
there we go.
And back throw. The strongest back throw in the game. That's not Incineroar's.
Yeah, Incineroar's is actually statistically the strongest, but you know what?
It sends out a better angle,
yes.
But Ness is stronger.
Yeah,
Ness
always use Ness's back throw if you can at high percent. It'll most likely kill. That's it for Ness. Thank you for joining us on this episode of SSS. For next time, make sure to stay tuned for a mystery character.